Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 13th of November. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, last night, I'm hoping some of you caught the note I put on the post-market chart saying that the action today looked like bull flags forming, and it looked like the obvious next move was a retest the high, because obviously the employment numbers were a question mark on that, but obviously they worked, and we're on the way back, I think, to the retest of the high. All of the negative divergence that we had building on the charts for days has played out. Sell signal on ES played out, NQ played out. I've got more to say about NQ, but I'll come back in a minute. RTY, we actually had a buy signal here. Sorry, I haven't actually marked it out, but that's already reaching the possible near miss target. And on YM, we didn't have a buy signal, but chances are that's heading back to it too. Looking at NQ, we had this nice little head and shoulders that I was talking about, and that broke down, and it's in the process, I believe, of failing. And that was prefaced by, I put this on the post-market charts yesterday, this lovely little falling wedge. And when you get these patterns on the RSI, they do tend to deliver. So we broke the price cycle there, and chances are that's going to head straight back. So this isn't actually a buy signal, but it's kind of a strong buy indicator. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm expecting to see retest the high, and when we see a break over this resistance here, this right shoulder high on NQ, which we're almost at already, then that will have a target back at a retest of the high on NQ. Looking at DAX and the STX, neither of which has been looking that interesting. We're actually making lower lows. So this is about where the election was, and you can see it's actually slightly down from there. So this hasn't really happened on the European indices at all. So are we forming a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing here? Yes, we are. And on ESTX, we have one which has already fixed. So I haven't actually updated these charts yet. So I'm liking high retests on the US indices, and on the European indices, I'm expecting some signs of life. Because obviously the very strong rally that we've seen on the US indices hasn't really been a factor elsewhere. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Yes, we've now had enough of a retrace. I was saying if we wanted to set up some decent sell signals, we'd need to see some retracement, and we've seen enough retracement that we could set up some weak divergence here. That doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to, or that it would mean anything if we do, but it's something I'm watching. Here, you can see what I was saying, and it's even more so on the other indices. You can see what I was saying about it looking like a bull flag forming. The 15-minute sell signal made target. We're not going to get an hourly sell signal here. I had the RSI 5 sell signal made target, but we've come down too low to set one up really on this chart here. So if we got up here and made another high, I wouldn't count that as an hourly divergence, but we could get a daily one. So watching that with interest. On the daily charts, we've seen a bit of a pullback here. It's not really enough to disrupt the daily upper band ride we've been on. We could just continue that, but as I said, we've now seen a bit of a pullback, and we could see a sell signal if there is one going begging. All right, looking at the Qs. Pulled slightly back off, but not a great deal off the upper band. Nice upper band right at the moment. There's no particular sign of that finishing. We could get some limited but weak negative divergence on a retest to the high. On the hourly chart, we again went a little too low on the RSI 14. And we didn't have a signal on the RSI 5. The RSI 14 sell signal made target. No positive divergence, but that is now done. Dire. Nice retracement. We could get a full RSI 5 sell signal brewing on a retest of this high. Pulled back a bit from the below the daily the daily upper band, having been pretty close to the 3SD upper band. On the hourly chart, we could form an hourly RSI 14 sell signal, but it would mean less in the absence of others on the other indices. So we'll see. On the 15-minute chart, we've actually got a possible RSI 14 buy signal brewing, and I'm thinking that's going to fix early on today. All right, very possibly at the open. Okay, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on IWM. IWM, we've seen a bit of a pullback. We could set up a full RSI 5 sell signal and RSI 14 sell signal. But we've already got an RSI 14 sell signal. I don't really pay an awful lot of attention to those generally. It's mainly the RSI 5s which I'll be watching. On the hourly chart, we had an RSI 14 sell signal and brewing, and that has fixed, and it's not made target yet. So I'm watching that, and that increases the chances that when we do see a retest of the high, we might be setting up for a larger retrace. In terms of the 15-minute chart, the RSI 14 sell signal made target as it did with all of the others. I'm not seeing really obvious topping patterns here, but if we're going back to retest the high, we wouldn't be forming head and shoulder patterns anyway. So we'll see. On DAX, DAX has been pretty damn weak, and on Nikkei, we're still in a stage where this could be a head and shoulders. I'm not expecting it to be one. But as and when we get back up to 40.3 and get over it, I'll be looking for a retest of this high here at 42.4. In the meantime, this has not really been. I mean, the American election has mainly been a big factor on the American indices. It's maybe holding up Japan a bit, not really been holding up the Europeans at all. All right, let's have a look at the US dollar. US dollar, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. We've got a buy signal fixed on the euro as well. I am expecting to see a bit of a retracement. I'm not really thinking this is likely to be a big high. ZB, expecting to see some more upside here. At least I'd be surprised not to see it. So I'm thinking we should at least reach this this possible IHS neckline in the 118.26 to 28 area. CL, we got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed, and that hasn't reached the possible near miss target. It looks like it's forming a bear flag, and of course we've got open targets below in the 66.5 to 66.75 area. On NG, NG, I'm still wondering whether this is a bear flag forming. No current negative divergence, nothing that would make a signal anyway. But watching to see whether we hold this, whether we get to, and whether we hold this rising support trend line, which is currently in the 2.72 area. On GC, we had a 60-minute buy signal fix that hasn't made target yet, and I have to say the chances of it making target have been considerably improved by seeing some weakness on the dollar here. On SI, 60-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target, and we have broken up over the nice resistance trend line here. I'm expecting to see some more upside here as well. On HG, we've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing and some signs of life. I haven't had a close look yet to see if we've got a trend line here. It's not a channel support trend line. Sorry, let me just have a quick look. Have we reached a decent trend line area here? Not really. We need to go a little lower for it. We will see. Do we have an obvious channel resistance? Bear with me a moment. Gotta say, no, we don't. Don't have a really obvious target, but if we were going to form a decent trend line, it would need to go at least a little lower. 60-minute buy signal brewing, I'm thinking the metals are going to be rallying today. KC, I did mention that on the daily chart I had a very nice trend line which had formed, and it had found support at, and that we could go considerably higher. I think in the short term we're heading back into a retest of this high here at 272.50, and then I think it could go significantly higher after that. SB still forming what is a likely bull flag without any great enthusiasm. CC, this has broken higher. Now I've got targets on here. Hang on, wait a second. I'm just going to show those to you. Wait a second. On let's just pull out the KC and the and the CC charts. That's KC. This is CC. All right, KC, this is the really nice trend line that held. We should retest this line here, and then I'm going to do a little more work on the trend line here because it's not quite as perfect as I like. But the obvious target is a move up here into about the 2.9 area, and I'm thinking that is eminently doable. We do have a little bit of negative divergence on the RSI 5, but that's something you often will just go straight through, and I'm thinking it'll probably go straight through here. On CC, this is the high that I would like to see retested here. We've seen a long consolidation here. I think this is broken up. I'm looking for a retest of 89.84 and possibly higher. We will see. The weak RSI 5 sell signal has failed, and there's nothing to prevent this going up. All right, ZW, we've got a possible weak 6-minute buy signal brewing, and I'm thinking we might see some signs of life here, but we've not seen much lately. Corn, we've been seeing a bit of a retracement here. The sell signal's made the possible near miss target. Looks like a bull flag forming at the moment, and I'm leaning towards seeing a full retest of this high here, which we've already seen, and higher. And I've got a trend line that's at about the 439, 4340 area that I'm watching. On soy, we've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed, and I'm thinking this may be about to reverse back up. If it isn't failing back to the lows, then I've got targets up here in the 105.8 to 106 area. Looking at cotton. Cotton is continuing down, and this double bottom is falling apart. We've got a little bit of positive divergence here, but at the moment, I'm thinking this could easily go significantly lower. Lumber is crawling higher. 60-minute sell signal fix hasn't delivered anything so far. Live cattle, no current positive divergence. This looks like a bull flag forming though. And on lean hogs, I think this is heading back up into the high. We're back over the weekly pivot and the monthly pivot now. No current negative divergence. All right, great. Let's do a quick recap of ES and have a look at questions. No questions. I was saying on the I just put a note on the post market charts yesterday that all of the charts on the indices were looking like bull flags forming. I think that's exactly what they were, and chances are we're heading back directly to retest the high. Possibly not today, but otherwise tomorrow. When we get there, there's a possibility we might be setting up double tops for a larger retracement, and a larger retracement wouldn't be a bad thing, but at the moment we've lost basically all of the sell signals for it. We could pick up a couple of daily ones, and I'd quite enjoy seeing a large retracement, so a decent one that got us back at least into the back test of this high here at 59.30. Whether we'll see that or not is a moot point, and of course when we get back to the retest the high, we could just continue up. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap, guys. No questions, so we'll see how it goes today. Should be interesting. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.